Your Astrological Natal Chart Report. This is the Peace Dealer, and I hope you get the utmost of quality from this report. I do see that you were born right before the new moon, which is actually mind-blowing to me because the very first reading I did today was also someone who was born right before the new moon on Pisces. And I can't help but notice these level of synchronicity coincidences that always somehow have to do with the Pisces vibe. I just wanted to share that. We don't know what time you were born, but thankfully, with the sun in Pisces, we can effectively enact that as your first house, as that is the focal point of your awareness, and all the planets do revolve around the sun. So the sun is more of a first house than the actual AC in your chart. But the AC just adds another dimension. Regardless, this will still allow us to give you quite an accurate reading, especially knowing that the moon in Pisces isn't necessarily on the cusp. So we know that you were born with your moon in Pisces. We also see that you are a bit of a master. You were born an ascended master. So that's the very first thing that I'm going to start with this reading. Not only were you born in 83, which is a very, very magical year. You're actually one of the most magical people of that year because you're at the top of the penthouse in Pisces, and Pisces is the ascended master. But with sun and moon in the last 4 zodiac signs, hence Pisces, you're what I like to call an upper echelon being. Okay, when your sun, moon, and or rising is in Sag, Cap, Aqua, Pisces, your general awareness and receptivity is in the highest collective level. And so it's not, it could be like being a celebrity, but it's really just more you pertaining to everyone and everything. Less about any kind of socialite stuff, but more about how you pretty much encapsulate the totality of everything. Totality is more Saturn, but you do connect there. And this is en route to what I spoke of you being a master, having 29 degrees Pluto, 29 degrees Neptune. Whenever we see any planets or luminaries past 20 degrees, it is in the third decan of mastery. And the last 29 anaretic degree is, in my opinion, in a degree of mastery. It also speaks to what you mastered in a past life that you're coming into this life to represent. So to see more than one planet is a huge deal. Pluto, of course, of awakening and transformation. Sextile Neptune of intuition, not only denoting that you have one of the highest level clairvoyant abilities in existence, similar to those born 1997 and 98 with 29 degrees Neptune Cap, who have the most powerful intuitions ever. You not only have the most powerful clairvoyant intuition, because in Sagittarius this is clairvoyant vision, but Neptune rules Pisces. So out of everyone with Neptune, your Pisces suns can harness this Neptune aspect, just like Gemini suns can harness Mercury very well. You, who happens to actually be a vessel of Mercury in Pisces, huge deal. Especially because, as we can see, it's not a coincidence that this squares perfectly. And this level of precision is just supernatural at this level. I'm just be honest. So other than that, it's very revealing about you. So we can already right off the bat say you are divine. The big three, and you are the living expression and embodiment of divinity, which is very important. Being born right before the new moon means that you are a living gift. So like your very presence is divine. In fact, I'm going to share article, right? You do have a divine vessel. Divine is, of course, Pisces. Vessel is, of course, moon. The first person who I spoke to had Saturn on their vessel and Mars. You have Mercury, the power to be a vessel for a deity. The deity in this case is Mercury. Of course, even if there was no planet on your moon, you still would have this aspect. So I'm going to put the link to that here. Okay. I just wanted to kind of illustrate that exceptionally, because on top of this divine vessel status, what we also see here is, oh yes, that's what I wanted to type in. Divine presence is another power on this page. So anything that is primarily Piscean, but especially in the case that you have, the power to emit a transcendent presence that can cause supernatural effects. Mutability in the zodiac is effects. And you're aware of this. This is the coolest thing. You can enter any place as an ascended master, and there is a legitimate supernatural effect to the cause of you being there. Scientifically speaking, we can even do case studies and experiment this in double-blind experiments where people don't even know they're being tested, which you don't have to because you live this, so you see this. And this is what I admire about. As a Gemini sun, I look up to y'all. Like, y'all are the pinnacle of magic. Sagittarius too, but really you. Really Pisces. So the big three is the rising, moon, and the sun. But the trinity is sun, moon, Mercury. Okay, where Mercury, the soul is your moon, your spirit is your sun. But it's your brain's ability to process in between your subconscious mind and your conscious mind that links all of those together. So there's a special case in astrology when you have all three in one sign divinely blended at that, okay, in Pisces. And this now is another indicator of the divinity of your presence. Effectively so, which is very important to realistically express as a major element of this reading, since given the sense that you emit this divine presence, everyone who's born on a new moon is this gift of divinity. So whenever someone is getting ready to step into a new belief system, not belief system, but a new belief, when they're ready to walk into new faith, when they're ready to believe in a new sense of magic, when they're ready to step into a new paranormal or supernatural experience, when they're ready to change their entire existence, they're going to meet you. The fact that I'm even doing this energy exchange with you, and I had that reading before, is a subtle example of this. Where you blessed me to see this magic. I didn't know you were born on a new moon in Pisces. So subtle stuff like this to even huger stuff, right? Subtle Pisces and Virgo are so subtle. Most of this is going to be under so many people's nose. They won't even realize that you walking across them like a legendary Pokemon is the reason why their whole life changed. You just looking into someone's eyes and saying, "Hey, I hope you have a good day," is the reason why their anxiety was calmed. You know. Now, whether you pick up all this negativity in exchange is a different story, but there's a different way with which you deal with all this. And it's not really that black and white, nor is it meant to be inferred as a bad thing. But you are the representation of the entire collective unconscious. And as an ascended master, you express divinity, harnessing and feeling the vibes within your soul. And then your brain is able to link with everything you feel in your soul, which is supernatural. Like, that's not normal. It's actually very gifted, enabling you to express this through your spirit in divine fashion. All right, and this is where that square to Uranus and Jupiter is so key, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and 83 is the 1 year. I'm 1990, so I can relate with this, because 88, 89, and 90 are the only 3 years where we see Saturn, which rules Capricorn, with Uranus and Neptune. 83 and 90 are the only years like that. Those are the only, that's why I feel a certain link to 83. It's a faint link, just symbolically. We're the only years that have Uranus and Neptune were never together like that. until they came together in Sag. All right. So like 83 is the only year with Jupiter in its exaltation with Neptune Uranus. And then the only other time we get that is Neptune Uranus in Cap with Saturn. You have Neptune and Uranus because Uranus rules Aquarius, but there's no triple conjunction there, right? So with that being said, it's a huge deal. The clairvoyant ability in this 1 year is unparalleled, especially because of the North Node that goes into Gemini later this year, which you have 0 degrees Cancer, opposite Neptune, unlocking the fullness of this intuitive capability. So the reason why this is important is you see the unseen. You see clairvoyant visions that other people will swear you're delusional for, but they're stupid. That's why they think you're crazy. And that's not to be condescending or to judge people, because if anything, you're very unconditionally understanding and loving. You're the type of person where people can literally hate you. And it's not that you won't get frustrated, but you wouldn't hold it past them. You just know they're dumb. It's not your fault you're dumb. You just don't know. That's why you're showing hate on me. Like, whereas Aries would get angry, be like, screw you, how dare you? You'll be like, oh, there's literally nothing you know. That's why, and I'm putting on a sarcastic spin on it, but you would literally, genuinely, empathically feel in like an ascended master. You would feel into how Father forgive them. They don't know. It's that very martyr Jesus. I'm still gonna show you love even though you're killing me. That doesn't mean that you're a doormat and you let people walk all over you. But this is why Pisces is the ascended master. Y'all lead forward with compassion. And plus, you're beyond everyone's level. So you understand that people will just never be on your level. And I don't mean that sarcastic. I'm being completely serious. Like, you understand fundamentally no one will ever be on your level. Yeah, Sagittarius will understand you. And yeah, Gemini can help translate what you think. But unless they're Aquarius or other Pisces, and even Aquarius is a bit too robotic to really embrace you. Like, it is just a Pisces thing. And that's really y'all gift. But you personally being born on that new moon or before that new moon, you legitimately with this Aries Sun Moon signature activate divinity for the whole collective. And I don't know what else to say. Like, that's just so divine. Like, that's wild. So to see Jupiter in its expansive dignity on Uranus is such a rare aspect that only happens one every 12 years. And Neptune as well. So there's an unconventionality that's going to stimulate this sense of genius in the way you process information from outside experiences that influence how you visualize and synthesize said meaning of meaning of said experiences. So Jupiter is going to expand things to the next level, but Uranus is going to bring that unpredictability in its connection to the causal realm to bring visions from outside of this realm in order to contextually stimulate what you see within this realm. There is a challenge, though. You don't have Gemini in your chart. You don't have Virgo. So you don't necessarily focus on the need to contextually analyze anything relative to this 3D reality. You can see somebody steal the cookie jar, right? And a Virgo will be like, okay, well, obviously the cookies were stolen because I can analyze there were 2 cookies stolen from the jar, and I'm looking at this person's hands and there's cookie crumbs on their fingers. Obviously that person took it, right? So what we're seeing here is inductive and or deductive reasoning based on the 3D, based on this reality. Someone is looking at elements of this waking, real, physical world, and they're analyzing what happened. You are an ascended master, so you don't even have to do all that. You had a dream. You walked up to that person and said, I know you took 2 cookies. And now they're freaking out because there's no hidden cameras. There's no way you could have known that. So they want to gaslight you, but they don't know you had a dream of them with a devil horns taking 2 cookies. Nothing of your dream is based in reality. You didn't see it for real. You saw it in a dream outside of this dimension. So, you know what I'm saying? Or you saw a vision of like 2 cookies attached to them. And then you found out 2 cookies were missing. So I want to it doesn't mean that you can't do it inductively, but I want to kind of illustrate how you go round about this process and you're able to discern real information through supernatural means. And now this is a challenge because, yeah, that's super magical, but none of these means are supported by postmodern science and have been relegated to science fiction and fantasy. So according to science, you don't even exist. You're like a fantasy genie. And Pisces is the genie, by the way. Pisces is also the zodiac sign that rules all mythological beings and creatures. Anything that you can imagine comes from Pisces. So it exists, and you're aware of this phenomenon. In this third dimensional realm, we've compartmentalized that to be in some existential realm outside of here, but it overlaps with here. It exists. It's just not real. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we may not be able to touch it, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And only Pisces understands that, especially with your moon in Pisces. Okay. It definitely also puts you in a position to realistically open up this supernatural understanding of also how realistically you have been in a position to collectively influence the masses, even if you're just influencing one person at a time, and due to 6 degrees of separation, it continues that chain of influence. Okay. So, I mean, there's a lot really to deal with here, especially when it goes into, once again, how magically you're in a position to really spread this divine presence, and with these transits come more into the influence of your being. I'm very honored to even be giving you this reading. Like, I've come this work I do has had me come to really respect Pisces. I make fun of y'all a lot because it's out of love, but I respect y'all so much because even though I've spent the first part like being annoyed with y'all because I was that Gemini in my head that had to logically figure everything out, and each and every one of y'all would tell me to you would teach me to surrender and let go, because you would manifest supernatural experiences that would prove to me that logic really doesn't matter in some cases. It does, but not in the way you think. And you open up people more to believe in that which is unseen, in that which is seemingly fantastical. But, ultimately, it is what it is. So in relation to, once again, this clairvoyant means of discerning phenomena, at 29 degrees Neptune, there's nothing you can't see. It is literally impossible to lie to you. And this is what really frustrates those who take your kindness for weakness, because they swear they can, especially Pisces comes off as a hippie. I'm sorry. Even the most intelligent Pisces, I'm sorry. Y'all come off as low-key hippie, fairy, you know what I'm saying? So you're kind of like Gemini. People don't realize y'all are genius. Pisces comes after the scientific mind of Aquarius. Einstein was a Pisces sun. So Pisces is higher metaphysical scientific understanding. It's just a lot of Pisces sun and moons are so tapped into this abstract essence. Not a lot of y'all care about how you come off or how you sound. And you're going to use words that for more critically, analytically minded people, you're going to sound delusional. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. You're going to sound delusional. Now, what people don't realize is that you're an ascended master. So you're far from delusional. If anything, you represent the mastery of human consciousness, the pinnacle of human consciousness. And this is where, even if you didn't have any details, you're still going to know that what you're hearing isn't really the truth, because your mutable energies will have you reflect in the essence of what actually is true. That's what people don't get about mutable signs. We actually represent the act, and I just mean in general. So that doesn't mean the sun and moon signs will be exempt, but the actual nature of the sign is the essence of that experience. And so if something is not true, you're going to feel that, because you, as a Pisces sun and moon, are the representation of the divine understanding of an experience. So you'll understand if something is true or a lie. And it's not going to be in the Virgo way, where you're going to analyze, well, that's just not factual, and here are the facts. You're just gonna know without having to know exactly how. It's not gonna feel right. The vibe is gonna be off. But we don't live in the type of world where you could be like, hey, you shouldn't get on that airplane. It just doesn't feel right. People have stuff to do. They're gonna be like, well, you're gonna have to give me some kind of evidence. Is the engine not working? Right. And yet you'll still be right. You'll convince that person not to go reluctantly, and then you find out later there was a plane crash and they couldn't figure out how, right? It doesn't have to happen like that all the time, but I just kind of want to illustrate, to always rest on that, because the level at which you have it is beyond other people's ability to understand. And Uranus will frustrate your mercurial ability to hold space with your moon, the divine understanding and insight. Mercury doesn't like to be in Pisces because Mercury likes to be logical. So like 1 + 1 is 2. But when it's in Pisces, 1 + 1 = infinity, and nothing doesn't make logical linear sense. But this is the highest point of Mercury because it's the magical mind that allows you to read between the lines and speak directly to people's souls. And so you're able to, at a brain level, process the metaphysical. This is supernatural. Everything about Mercury and Pisces is supernatural. Like, once you step into the realm of Pisces, it's nothing normal. The brain cannot process metaphysical experiences, but when it's in Pisces, it can. And then square Uranus now as an unconventionality through other experiences from other people to how you synthesize the meaning of what you're processing. Because your brain is linked with your soul, your moon that now from this realm of the unseen picks up the vibes of this metaphysical phenomena. Your brain instantly links with how to process that. And I don't know how to say that without going crazy inside, because that is crazy. There's nothing normal about that. And then Saturn trines this. So you're able to add so much psychological wisdom and authority into the psychoanalysis of everything that your brain is processing, attached to your spirit's ability to get this, be aware of everything. And this is why the superpower of every Pisces sun is extrasensory perception. People have not truly accepted that, especially because not every Pisces is pure. You have some who are corrupted. So the dark side of Pisces is, well, I do have ESP. If I can convince you, maybe with an intuition in here, that I can see the unseen, how will you know if I'm lying? And this is where as above, so below. Everything that's unseen has to have some kind of seen correlation. But this is where Pisces can have a bad reputation because of the distrust versus divine beings like you who do right by people. And so your awareness of these unseen phenomena not only gives you extrasensory perception, but the square to your intuition mastered with Neptune shows you the highest understanding of this reality. Neptune is like having spiritual goggles that you put on, and it shows you the spiritual meaning behind what's actually happening. So you can see, it's like that movie where with Neptune and Sag, you can see a McDonald's sign, and you turn on Neptune and Sag and you see the spiritual meaning behind it. Oh, this is, and I don't want to get political here, but this is actually the nature of this organization. I don't want to say it's good or bad to sound biased, but basically, just like that. And you'll be able to kind of fluctuate that. But the square can bring issues if it's not balanced. This can now fall one deeper into levels of pathology, and that's what you can sense in other people before you ground with Chiron and Taurus, the aspect of natural healing with your touch or your presence. Mars and Venus represent the bold infusion of how passionate and exciting. I also have Mars in Aries, but as a Gemini. It's different as a Pisces. Before I can think about what I'm doing, I already did it. Before I can think, hey, that's a good idea or a bad idea. Hey, you probably shouldn't. I already did it. And that's the only thing that's challenging about Mars and Aries. Other than that, I love it. It's in its dignity. It's just super reckless. But as a Pisces, you have so much wisdom and foresight that will now add a lot of dynamic manifestation to the boldness of your power. And Venus adds so much beauty to how you passionately manifest the value of your divinity. So your destiny is to take this nature of the vision you see and to ground it and express it privately in your home space, in your creativity, You do have Pluto opposite Venus, so there's going to be a lot of extremeness and somewhat social anxiety and the hatred of how authentically you express your heart, or the extreme love. There's no in between, basically. But be careful of people who throw shade because they're jealous, basically, of how original your talent is. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I hope you gain the most from this report. You stay blessed. As always, I am definitely looking forward to your feedback. And until next time.